Okay, we want to talk about some of these other things that the synthesizer does. First of all, in the mixer section, you'll see a slider for noise. We turn that all the way up, and what do we get? I was going to hold that a long time so you could try and figure out what it was, but I think you probably know. It's noise. And this is some sort of weird digital noise, to my understanding, or a noise loop or something. It's not just an analog noise generation. So it's kind of wacky. It does have some weird, it's got high parts and low parts, and it's kind of crunchy, so it's kind of fun. But you can treat this, you don't have to just have noise. You can do things with a filter. And of course we can use the envelope and the filter. And if you wanted to, we could do things like switch over to force in the filter, so you could control it using the force or aftertouch. We have to have a little bit. So using force, which is aftertouch, you can create your favorite wind effect. That's awesome. We also have the ring mod. Let's listen to the ring mod. Are you ready? You're like, wow, that doesn't sound like weird ring mod-y stuff. And it doesn't, because the two oscillators are in tune with each other. Basically, you're putting the input of oscillator 1 and 2 and getting the sum and differences of the frequencies present in those sounds. It doesn't become really evident until you change the pitch of oscillator 2, much like sync. So you can sit there and turn the knob, which is fun, or you can just set it someplace. So you can get these kind of cool clangorous sounds. You could tune it to reasonable intervals, like a fifth. And it will make just really interesting timbre, a little more complex waveform timbre sounds. Which you can then mix again with the original oscillators. So you can get a way wider timbral palette to choose from than just two oscillators with standard waveforms. And you can always modulate it with your hand. It's almost like there's kind of almost an FM sound there, if I dare say that. So that is, the ring mod isn't just a funny noisemaker like it so often is on other synthesizers. It's actually a timbre generator or special effect, depending on how you use it. So that's fun. Unfortunately, the force doesn't affect that in any way. It would have been nice if they had connected it like they did with the sync, where you could control the pitch of oscillator 2 with various functional factors to create the ring mod clangorous effect. But I'm afraid you'll have to use your hand. Now we get to the polyphonic section. Okay. Yes, the LIberation is a polyphonic synthesizer. It's polyphonic. Okay, but we need to talk about several things. First of all, here's what everyone writes about, and this is what you've come to expect with this synthesizer. Are you ready? What's everyone say about the polyphonic section? And it even says this, I think, in the original manual. The term organ is often used. Cheesy organ. Why do they call it a cheesy organ? Because it's square waves, because it's set. These are the only pitches present. It's set up like organs were set up in the 60s, which is to say it's divide down. All of these different notes play at once. So that's cool. But it's only an organ if you have it set up like I do right now. Here's the trick. Look, we'll turn the polyphonic down. We'll turn these awesome analog, non-organy whatever up. We have the filter set to the same setting. What do you get? You get monophonic cheesy organ sounds. Those aren't cool. That's not cool. What makes the synthesizer cool is what you do with those sounds to make them change over time using mostly the filter or with the other oscillator. So we'll turn this back up and then we'll treat it like a synthesizer and not a cheesy organ. What do we do? First, let's do some fun stuff with the filter. It goes through the filter, people. Cheesy organ? I don't think so. Those are square waves going through a Moog filter. Yeah. Is it a memory Moog? No, it's not. But it's not a cheesy organ either. There are two problems with it. Number one, these are the fixed frequencies. You don't get any other frequencies in these. It doesn't go any lower. It doesn't go any higher. And the other thing is there's no decay for it. You can have an attack for it. But when you let go of the keys, it goes away. But that's not the end of the world because we have envelope generators, right? So let's see what happens when we use them. The sound went away, not abruptly. Why? It's because I was using the envelope generator to create a decay, to create a release. Granted, I do have to hold it down until it gets there. But still, not a cheesy organ. There are things you can do. Those are great sounds. And what no one ever talks about, and I don't know why, is that you can use the oscillators at the same time as the poly. And if you played monophonically, guess what that means? I'll give you a hint because there's a knob over here that allows you to tune the poly section. That's right. Basically, you've got 3 oscillators now. Now it's a 3 oscillator synthesizer. 3 oscillators. You have the 2 monophonic oscillators, and you're playing the 3rd oscillator because you can tune it. So you can tune all 3 oscillators to different things. So then you basically have a mini Moog. And I know that's quite a stretch, but still, it is a 3 oscillator synthesizer if you choose not to play chords on the poly. If you do choose to play chords on the poly, the 2 oscillators will play the highest note of whatever you're playing. So if you play your chords right, you can always make it so that the tonic's on the top. And you don't even know, you don't even realize that these other oscillators are happening. That's really cool. And also you can put glide on the 2 oscillators. There's no glide on the polyphonic section. And you can hear those oscillators slide around. And really cool, unique effects can be created by doing these weird things because this is a weird setup. It's a total cool sounding vintage synth. And you have these incredible opportunities. And right there, I wasn't even playing with the modulation. I mean, you can get this going on. I mean, you have modulation that you can use in a variety of ways to make this sound really, really cool. It's really quite powerful if you start mixing all these different parts together. Anyway, so yeah, not a cheesy organ.